I'm Jo Hayes, and I graduated from the University of Birmingham in 1997, and I studied French, was my major, and I studied Italian and Spanish as well. And I'm now in Hong Kong, have been for nearly 10 years, and I'm working for a non-profit organisation called Habitat for Humanity Hong Kong. So I'm the CEO of Habitat for Humanity Hong Kong, and we are a global organization. So we're a global organization that focuses on housing and increasing the access to decent and affordable housing across 70 countries around the world. And we build, we improve, we modify, we renovate, we deep clean, we declutter. And we do that for one family, one household, one person at a time. But at the same time, we also look to see how we can influence change within the housing ecosystem. My first week with Habitat back in 2018, and I actually spent my first week in Nepal. So meeting many different communities that had been impacted by the 2015 earthquake. And being able to see how the communities had been, some had been completely destroyed. There was one village I visited, and 87 out of the 89 homes had been completely destroyed. And I visited the community and met with them at a time where they had been able to rebuild their community. And but not only had they rebuilt it and redesigned it in a way that was actually more functional and more resilient, building to future effects of climate change and future natural disasters, we'd actually been able to train up some of the women as masons. So we'd been able to upskill them to not only rebuild their own homes, but also to actually generate more income for themselves and their families through building other homes, both in that community and in others further afield. And for me, that was amazing to be standing with, and I say standing, it was a lot of being down and laying the foundations of these different homes and being taught by these women in these communities on how to actually lay the foundations of a home. And there with my hard hat, and I remember at the time, you have that kind of the tape that goes around a work site where it says men at work. And I remember the first thing that I did when I arrived was to get a marker and just to write on women, just to add in that WO, because the women there were just phenomenal, and that had a lasting impact, and will always have be really, really impactful memory for me. And I could talk for so long about all the different people that I've met in the communities, in whether it's in Bangladesh, 15-year-old Eva in Bangladesh, who was telling me about the WASH, so the water sanitation training that she'd received from Habitat, and how that had, and living in the slums in Bangladesh, and how that had been able to change her life, because she was able to not only stay in school through the training and the water and the facilities that we'd been able to install for her community and the school, but she was also able to cascade her training to her family, her community, other schools, and she was just a phenomenal young woman that I was able to meet there. But only a couple of months ago, more recently, when I was in a public housing estate in Hong Kong, and I was working in a public housing estate with a woman who she had lost her husband, and she'd also lost her son, and one of the challenges with housing in Hong Kong is the size. So housing is really small. We don't have much space here. So already her flat was small, but it was made even smaller because of the years, and we're talking decades, of accumulating objects and memories, and seeing, you know, stacked high from floor to ceiling of airplane kits and children's toys and unopened boxes of men's shoes, and there was a tiny pathway from the front door to part of her bed where she was able to sleep. And what we were able to do, working with some local domestic workers here, we're able to give them employment opportunities, and together doing deep cleaning and decluttering of these homes, and being able to have that exchange with her, being really respectful of the memories that are tied into every single object, and for her, and to see her making that move to give up those objects, and being able to see the kind of the physical release, as we're able to bit by bit give her that living space back. That was a recent experience that I've had, that makes every challenge, every twist and turn and risk and crisis that I've had to navigate over the last 4.5 years. It's a really important reminder about why myself and the team do what we do, and why I come back every day.